This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
We need some help. So that's why we asked you to come on out. If you guys can stir this up and get some heat on it, we'd certainly appreciate it.
Now at 11, RTV6 is getting results for members of a dog park dealing with a much bigger problem than owners not picking up after their pets. Good evening. I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. An issue at a park on the east side of Indianapolis is leaving some people trapped.
RTV6's Cameron Riddle is working for you, answering a frustrated pet owner's call for help.
The lock on this gate is supposed to be one of the biggest perks to this East Side dog park, but it's actually one of the biggest problems. And as I found out, it literally locks you in.
There's a magnetic lock that's supposed to go here that holds the gate, and you swipe in. With your card, you swipe, it opens, you go in, life's good, you close it. It hasn't really worked since probably March this year, off and on.
The gates to the Paul Rooster Dog Park seem to be hit or miss and often problematic, usually not unlocking, keeping the park's paid members outside, or as I experienced, locking visitors inside.
There you go.
There we are.
Okay.
You got lucky.
I got lucky. To combat that problem, Indy Parks, which manages the area, has tried to add different locks, but none of those repairs solved the problem. After getting locked in the park on Monday with his dog Dylan, Dan Frankie called RTV6 for help.
You know, how do you lift a 100-pound dog over the gate? And how do you, as a senior, jump that gate? It gets harder and harder. I finally had to call home. I live a few blocks away and said, honey, bring the key, which is a 6-inch crowbar, and I had to pop it open and get out.
Frankie says at one point the gates were just being left open, allowing anyone to enter the park. He and other dog owners pay an annual $75 fee to use. He says if the gates aren't secure, anyone can bring in their dog, including those that don't have their shots and vaccinations as required by park policy.
It has to have shot records. It has to be a well-socialized dog. You can't just wander off the street and say, okay, here's my fighting dog and I'm bringing him in.
Frankie says something's got to give to make his walks with his dog just a little bit easier.
We're paying money, we might as well just get our money back and make it an open park. And that's been suggested. If we can't keep it working, why are we paying every year, year after year?
Working for you on the east side, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Thank you, Cameron. And after Cameron made some calls tonight, Indy Parks quickly responded, telling RTV6 the gate has been malfunctioning after being repeatedly struck by an object. Part of a statement sent by Indy Parks says while the main entry device is being repaired, dog park customers are now using an access code to enter and exit the dog park. The main entry device will be fully functioning by Friday. And Indy Parks is asking residents to immediately report any vandalism at the dog park, tampering with the entry gates, or other dog park conditions to customer service at 317-327-7275 or email the Parks Department.
The health department is threatening to sue if management of an Indianapolis apartment does not take action by tomorrow. RTV6 is also working for you to hold the owners accountable as tenants deal with mice, roaches, and mold. Courtney Holland rents a unit at New Parkwoods Apartments on the northeast side, but she says the conditions are so bad she hasn't actually stayed in her place since February.
Son asthma kept flaring up in February, and I didn't understand why. They said, like, with the feces and the rodent, it leaves something in the air or whatever, and it gets down in the kids' lungs.
Courtney contacted the Marion County Board of Health. Inspectors have been out twice and cited the landlord both times. The department has notified the owner and manager of the complex that inspectors will be back at the apartment tomorrow. We'll continue to follow up until a resolution is reached.
Still working for you. Some traffic changes are in place or in the works after you reached out to RTV6 for help. There are new signs and markers along Wilson Road on the west side less than a week after viewers shared pictures of vehicles veered off the road. Now, many drivers say the road is deteriorating and eroding, causing this problem.
Hit one of those spots where it's eroded, it drags them right off the road, and it's about a 3 to 4 foot drop. So I've seen personally at least a dozen cars in the last year that have been off on the side of the road.
Last week, the Department of Public Works told RTV6 crews inspected the road and determined an emergency closure was not necessary. Safety cones were already in place, but those extra safety warnings have been added since we started looking into the problem. And Indigo says it is directing construction teams to remove some of the pole dividers at College and Broad Ripple. This change comes days after RTV6 showed you vehicles being forced to drive up on the curb because those new dividers make the turn at that intersection very tight. The poles are part of the Red Line project. And if you have a problem, need help getting results, contact us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
The weather this evening was not a problem. In fact, it was very pleasant outside. Hope you got a chance to enjoy it. The question is there more of that in store for the week?
We've got a couple of nice days here as we go through Thursday and Friday. Just a couple of isolated showers this afternoon, and we still have a couple of those on Storm Team 6 radar for us this evening as we make our way into the eastern portion of the state around Portland and also into Liberty. Again, these are just providing some very brief rain as they are continuing to slide off to the east. Had some stronger storms in northeastern Indiana and portions of Ohio earlier. We won't have to deal with any of that. In fact, our weather is going to be very quiet during the overnight. Upper 60s for you right now in Martinsville and Bloomington, 73 degrees in Indianapolis. At this point, visibility is not a problem, but that could certainly change as we go into the morning. Look at TrueCast and the visibility forecast here around 7 o'clock in the morning. Some spots could be talking about fog that's reducing visibility to under a half mile in some locations. So allow a little bit of extra travel time as you head out the door in the morning. It will be mild and dry with temperatures in the middle 60s. We're back into the 70s by 10.
A hearing does not appear to be scheduled yet for a state representative accused of flashing a badge and claiming he was looking for drug dealers. The man who reported the encounter is sharing his story with RTV6.
Did you ever think that he was law enforcement?
Not for 1 second.
James McGuire says he was walking with his fiance and his 2-year-old in their neighborhood on South Franklin Road when state lawmaker Dan Forrestal showed them a badge. McGuire says Forrestal said that he was looking for drug dealers to turn in. The interaction immediately raised McGuire's suspicions.
When I asked him to see the badge again, he wouldn't show it. He just literally kept talking about drug dealers.
McGuire took pictures of Forrestal's vehicle when he drove off and called police to report a police impersonator. Unbelievably, the two men crossed paths again later that night when McGuire, who is an Uber driver, went to a bar. You can find out what happened after that by going to the RTV6 app and clicking on this story. And Forrestal faces several criminal charges, including impersonation of a public servant, resisting law enforcement, and operating a vehicle while intoxicated. Call 6 Investigates reached out to him for comment. We are waiting for a response.
A 25-year-old Fishers woman called a consumer's worst nightmare has been ordered to serve nearly 5 years in federal prison. Investigators say for 6 years, Ariel Wilkerson used stolen identities to open credit cards and take over financial accounts, often re-victimizing the same people. Today, the court handed down a 57-month sentence. Prosecutors say the punishment sends a strong message that people who commit identity theft will face real consequences. Metro Police want to know if you recognize a person accused of setting a food truck on fire on the west side. This happened on Sunday morning at Indianapolis restaurant next to Lafayette Square Mall. Investigators say the suspect appears to be wearing a shirt with a large bull face on the front. The business owner says another food truck was parked in the same lot and was not set on fire or touched at all.
And that's not the only crime on the west side caught on camera. Several business owners say they've been targeted by thieves, stealing hundreds of dollars worth of products and leaving behind thousands of dollars in damage. Tilbury's Vape and Elixirs on West Washington Street has been broken into twice this month. The burglars got away with a PlayStation, vape pens, and even the cash register. A nearby auto repair shop has also been victimized by vandals. The owners say the crimes are having a bigger negative impact on their businesses.
People don't want to come here, especially I'm getting this kind of, notoriety that, their cars get broke into. So now I don't leave anything, as you see my parking lot, I don't leave anything outside. Everything's got to go in.
It's terrible, especially when it's all the businesses down Washington Street are having the same problem.
If you have information about the vape shop break-in or any other crime, you can report tips anonymously to Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS.
Crown Hill Cemetery is against the plan to dig up John Dillinger's grave. Crown Hill released a statement today saying the safety and integrity of the cemetery is threatened by the upcoming exhumation. Now, there are also concerns about the process disrupting the peaceful setting for people visiting their loved ones. Two of Dillinger's relatives say they have evidence the remains at Crown Hill may not be of the notorious 1930s gangster. The process to dig up the grave will be part of a History Channel documentary.
A carbon monoxide leak at a Beech Grove business sent at least 7 workers to the hospital. Firefighters were called to Elmco Engineering on Churchman Bypass near I-465 around 5 o'clock this afternoon. None of the injuries are believed to be serious. First responders say the situation could have been much worse.
If they hadn't caught it and started evacuating the personnel like they did, I mean, it can lead to unconsciousness and even death.
Firefighters say the employees did the right thing by recognizing there was a problem and evacuating the building. Right now, there are no reports of what caused that leak.
A public forum to discuss a controversial project in Muncie is canceled. Wales Sustainable Products was going to speak to concerned citizens on August 20th. The company says it needs more time to answer everyone's questions. It plans to open a steel dust recycling plant by the end of next year in the former Borg-Warner site along Kilgore Avenue. Many people are worried that pollution and mercury emissions from the plant could be hazardous to their health. A regular city committee meeting is still scheduled for the 21st. A project that's causing an unpleasant side effect for neighbors on the northeast side of Indianapolis is moving forward. We spotted crews around the drained pond in Castleton Farms near 75th and Shadeland, but dead fish with a terrible smell are still there, according to our photographer. The city cleared out the pond for a drainage project.
Amazon's footprint in central Indiana is about to get a lot bigger, and that means hundreds of job openings. Where a new facility is set to open and the benefits offered by the company.
Also, how Facebook is responding to the latest controversy about your privacy. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
Friday, only at Ashley Home Store.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Welcome back. Another reminder to check your privacy settings and avoid sharing anything through social media that you want to keep personal. This warning comes after Facebook confirmed it hired outside contractors to listen to and transcribe users' audio chats on its Messenger app. The company says it hired the contractors to make sure voice messages were interpreted correctly and that users opted in to having their conversations transcribed. According to a report from Bloomberg, people hired to listen to those conversations said although the messages were anonymous, they were troubled by their work, calling it unethical.
Critics are saying this is an invasion of privacy, that the rules are not crystal clear to the users. And in particular, this is troubling coming from Facebook, which just paid a record $5 billion fine to the FTC because of privacy issues.
Amazon and Apple have also faced criticism recently for collecting audio from consumers. Facebook says it, quote, paused human review of audio more than a week ago.
New at 11, just hours before the FBI made a public plea asking for help finding a man accused of killing a Gary woman, officers made an arrest. Police took James McGee into custody this evening in Lake County. He's charged with murdering 27-year-old Sydney Nicole Buchanan. She was last seen July 27th at a concert in Tinley Park outside of Chicago. A body found Monday in a nature preserve about 11 miles away has been identified as Buchanan. Evidence collected from an apartment on the south side of Indianapolis is now in the hands of the FBI. Investigators say the man accused of shooting up a veterans hospital in Chicago on Monday lives in the apartment. We told you last night at 11, Bernard Harvey Jr. is from Indianapolis. RTV6 has confirmed the rifle Harvey is accused of using in the shooting was one of more than 30 guns stolen from a gun shop in New Whiteland last month. No one was hurt in this attack.
Happening now, a standoff continues in Philadelphia. A man barricaded himself inside a home in the city after investigators say he shot 6 officers. ABC's Daria Albinger has the latest developments.
The situation unfolded around 4:30 in the afternoon as officers tried to serve a narcotics warrant. They were already entering the premises when gunfire rang out. The alleged gunman barricading himself inside the home on a residential street in North Philadelphia. Police returning fire, some escaping through windows and doors.
We have an officer shot, and they're still being shot at.
Gunfire can be heard as officers call for backup.
Send additional car immediately. Send additional car.
Bullets ricocheting off nearby homes as officers take cover behind parked cars. The police commissioner describing the chaotic scene.
Trying to talk to this male. He continues to fire rounds. out of the window.
2 police officers trapped inside the home, the entire neighborhood on lockdown. Philadelphia's elite strike force moved in with an armored vehicle. At least 9 officers injured, 6 of them with gunshot wounds. One seen here limping to a patrol car after being shot in the leg.
We're thankful. I'm a little angry about someone having all that weaponry and all that firepower, but we'll get to that another day. It's all about the officers and their families right now.
All of the injuries are considered to be non-life-threatening. Daria Albinger, ABC News, New York.
Amazon is hiring Hoosiers in central Indiana. The company needs more than 1,000 workers for a new fulfillment center in Greenwood. Full-time employees will be paid at least $15 per hour with benefits, including health care, 401k with a 50% match, and up to 20 weeks of paid parental leave. You must be at least 18 years old and have a high school diploma or equivalent to be considered. The new redistribution center is at the Worthsville Road exit off I-65 on the south side of Greenwood. A spokesperson says the facility is expected to open this fall. An exact date is not yet set. The home of the Pacers is getting ready for the start of the season in October. If you missed the job fair at Bankers Life Fieldhouse today, you still can apply online. There are a variety of positions, part-time positions available actually, which Mose Teleber says is perfect for him.
I just want to do part-time, keep me busy. I love basketball, so this is right up my alley, so that's why I came down.
And for more information about jobs at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, the Amazon facility in Greenwood, or any other opportunity that you see on RTV6, go to hiringhoosiers.com.
Kyle now joins us live with a look at our weather and what we can expect for the rest of the week.
Yeah, it was nice to finally see some sunshine back out there today.
Tonight.
Yeah, it warmed up a little bit this afternoon, close to 90 degrees, and we've got some more opportunities for that in the 7-day forecast. Let's take you outside right now, though, with Storm Team 6 radar and show you, again, things are fairly quiet here. We've got just a couple of very light and small showers here in the far eastern portion of the state, east of Muncie and also around Liberty, quickly pushing over into Ohio. For the rest of the night, we will be dry. Our temperature into the lower 70s right now in the Circle City. We've got that west-northwest wind at 7 miles per hour. And as the temperature continues to fall into the 60s and that dew point sitting in the 60s, that's a recipe for some of that fog to develop. Already, we've got some of those 60-degree temperatures from around Greencastle into Lafayette. It's 73, though, for you right now in Columbus. Tonight, we'll all drop back down into the 60s, around 64 degrees with that patchy fog developing and partly cloudy skies. As we take an hour-by-hour look at your Thursday forecast, once again, I think a mix of sun and clouds here. Once we get that morning fog out of the area, temperatures will recover to around 71 at 10 a.m. Your lunchtime temperature at 74. And typically, as we go into the afternoon, that temperature warms pretty quickly, right? Well, that is not going to be the case tomorrow. We'll kind of hold in the upper 70s and lower 80s around central Indiana here, as we've got some less humid air that's going to be moving in here for a couple of days. So actually, numbers are a little below average for this time of year. It's 78 for you in Frankfort tomorrow afternoon and Logansport as well. 80 degrees in Anderson. We'll find those temperatures right around 80 degrees in Shelbyville at 81, 80 degrees in Newcastle, and lower 80s Bedford into Seymour with a mix of sun and clouds for you. Once again, on Friday, we'll have temperatures pretty comfortable in the lower 80s, and then we really start to heat things up as we go into the upcoming weekend, and some areas hitting around 90 degrees, especially by Sunday afternoon. Now, with that warmth does come an isolated chance for a shower or thunderstorm. Now, on Friday, I think our rain chance is only about 20% or less. As we go into Saturday afternoon and evening, this is TrueCast 6 o'clock Saturday. That's where we've got a little better chance for some of that rain moving through, but not enough that you're going to need to cancel your weekend plans, and a few more of those showers into our Sunday. 7-day planning forecast as we put it all together for you. You see the warming trend through the weekend. That's actually going to last into the early part of next week with highs in the upper 80s, quite a bit of humidity with that too, and some small rain chances. We could really use some rain in most backyards.
Yeah, it would help people with
pretty dry
chores, I'm sure, right? But a decent way to wrap up Colts camp tomorrow.
Yeah, it's looking great out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Good weather.
That place was packed today. By the way, who let all the Browns fans in?
Well, let's see.
What is this? I mean, this is darn near a brownout in Westfield today, but are the Colts in luck for the season opener? When the news at 11 continues. World Cup, yeah, don't forget about USA Basketball training at the Lakers practice facility out in L.A. And the Pacers' Miles Turner still on the 17-man roster, expected to be whittled down to 12 by the end of the weekend when the team travels to Australia. By the way, Team USA takes on Spain Friday night in Anaheim. Well, good evening. Crazy day at Colts camp where 3 #1 draft picks were on the field today. Only 2 of them practiced. Baker Mayfield, Myles Garrett for the Browns. Andrew Luck stood there with a wrapped left ankle. Brad Brown with the Sports Extra Spotlight.
Here we go, Browns! Here we go! The visiting fans certainly felt right at home here in Westfield. When the Browns come to town, the dog pound is never far behind. And today, they got a chance to see a revamped Cleveland roster up close.
You know, there's something about an underdog mentality that just kind of sticks with our DNA or something. Right. But we were actually thinking about breaking out the Here We Go Brownies chant just as soon as the Browns hit the field.
The Colts were ready to go once again as well. And once the teams came together, it was high energy and often very physical. Nothing got too out of hand, but it's clear these players were all ready to go up against anyone else.
It looked like there's high energy. Guys on both teams are excited to be going against a different team after going against the same team for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Anytime you get to hit somebody else and not your own teammates, or you know exactly what they're doing because you practice against them so many days in a row, that's always great. And just seeing different looks and different things and being able to, take it back to your day one reads and your rules and all that is great for us to see.
Andrew Luck was at Wednesday's workout, but he remained sidelined by, well, something. Coach Wright gave a better idea of the timetable and making a decision regarding his quarterback in Week 1.
Ideally, the more time you have, the better. But by the end of the 3rd preseason game, I think you just have to know something. You got to be able to make a call, move. He's pushing it just enough, but his throwing session today, I watched it on tape, and I don't know if he's going to be ready or not. We'll see. But the little bit that I saw today looked good.
Everyone gets another dose of this on Thursday. The teams will do it all over again, taking the field at 4 p.m., leading up to the preseason game at Lucas Oil Stadium on Saturday. In Westfield, Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
Brad, thanks. Peter Quentin Nelson, he was one of those who did not practice today. He, too, nursing an ankle. Finally tonight, first and foremost from the Vickyard day game against Rochester, bottom of the 4th. Watch this. Trayvon Robinson with Howardster to right. Watch the ball go. It goes over the fence, hits West Street, keeps rolling. Pretty sure you can pick that ball up at Arby's on the South Street tonight. Robinson's 7th homer of the season. Brandon Waddell was outstanding. 6 innings, a 1-run ball, struck out 6. His first AAA win since June. Good guys get it done 5-3. They go for the series sweep tomorrow night. And Colts camp, as mentioned, wraps up tomorrow. Gates open up at 2:30. Practice begins at 4.
At the Arby's, you said.
At the Arby's.
The roast beef.
Just that. Are you hungry?
Yeah.
I'll be back.
All right.
With the ball.
We will be right back.
Your Central Indiana GMC dealer.
Indianapolis is looking for artists to help celebrate 2020. Officials are making an open call for logo designs to mark the city's bicentennial celebration next year. Artists of all ages are encouraged to participate. The bicentennial will begin in June 2020, last through summer of 2021. Your work should include one or more of the 4 bicentennial themes. That's history, civic pride, innovation, and legacy. For more information, go to the RTV6 app and click on this story.
I can't wait to see some of those.
Yeah, it will be very cool to see those artists' renderings. All right, as we go through the next 7 days of our forecast here, we've got those temperatures around 80 degrees, so it will be comfortable on Thursday and Friday. We've got numbers that are closer to 90, though, for the upcoming weekend. About a 30% chance of a shower, thunderstorm mainly during the afternoon, so a lot of dry time in the weekend, too. We'll keep the warmth going into early next week.
It'd be nice to have that roof open on Saturday.
You know who did the weather back 200 years ago? Kevin Gregory.
I was going to tell him you said that.
Oh, gosh.
Tell him
this is
Laurie,
like
you
Kevin
said
needs to come. Kyle, you're great.
It's funny. It's funny.